Welcome to the Heart for God podcast. With many years of experience pastoring and helping to start churches, Dr. Jim Townsley has some practical and biblical advice that can be a great help to you and your ministry. On this podcast, Dr. Townsley and other guests with special expertise cover a variety of topics. His goal is to help you lead your church to be a healthy, strong, and balanced ministry, and for your family to be happy, healthy, and living for the Lord.
Thanks for listening today, joining me in the Heart for God podcast. The last session that I had was really part one of making your church healthy again. And the goal, or my approach to helping churches, is to help the church be healthy, be a strong church. The Bible says, let all things be done decently and in order. Well, that involves a lot of things when it says all things. 1 Corinthians 14:40 says, whether therefore you eat or drink, or whatsoever you do, do all to the glory of God. As I commented in the first part of this series, there are four primary categories that churches need to address to be healthy. Building and grounds is the one I want to talk about today, but there's also administration, organization. The first session was on outreach and growth. The fourth session is preaching, teaching, and discipleship. Now, the buildings and grounds can be overlooked as it can look sort of respectable, but a dilapidated building, people drive by and they say, what's going on there? Are they still having services? Are they open? I've seen churches that they basically shout, stay out. The grass needs mowed, the shrubs are overgrown, the building needs painted, the front doors, entrance doors are peeling. It's basically saying you're not welcome here. So the buildings are important. Making the building clean. A dilapidated building may keep people from ever stepping inside to hear the message of salvation. Now, I think it's important and helpful to, when you review your church and your ministry, ask yourself some important questions. What is the reputation of your church in this community? There are cases where there's been scandals. Maybe the deacon board or board of the church keeps running off the pastor, or there's conflicts, or if the reputation is tarnished in that community, it can be hard to build that back, but it must be built back. Your reputation in your community is absolutely vital. Second question I would ask is, why would anybody come visit your church? That's a good question. I'm sure you've had people visit. Why did they come? Did they find you on the website? Were they driving by the church? They saw the sign. They saw people going in and out, and they were curious. They thought, you know what, we probably need a church. Let's go visit. Was there some advertisement, a Facebook ad? Were they invited by someone? Maybe a special activity was going on. So whenever someone visits a church, they are curious, they are looking for something, and they are a top prospect. And you need to take advantage of those people that come. You need to have a plan, not just to say, well, our people are friendly, because they can be friendly with each other, but people coming and visiting don't feel like you really care. I mean, there's a big difference. And so when someone visits, you need to make sure that you have a plan of how to make them feel welcome, at home, and would want to return. And why would a visitor want to come back? They came once. Why would they come back? Well, maybe there's something going on. You say, well, we're going to have a special concert next Sunday, the special program that, we have a special speaker. There's some activity that's going on. So there may be some activity that interests them, or maybe a series of preaching, something that they might be interested in. Maybe it was because they felt warm. And here's the thing I think is really important. Do they feel like God is really there? Do they sense through the singing, the fellowship, the friendliness, do they really feel like there's something going on here? This is different. Do they feel welcome to the church? So why would they want to return to the church? And there are reasons they would, and maybe the singing, the preaching, the worship, they felt welcome, the spiritual atmosphere, but there would be some reason they're looking or searching for something, and they feel like maybe it's here. And why would they ever become a member, a faithful attender? Well, they need to get saved if they were not saved, and that certainly changes everything. They have to feel like this is a place where they can belong, a place where people care about them. And maybe the other question to ask is, why would somebody not come back? Sometimes people come and they're looking for drums, strobe lights, choreography. Well, they're not going to be happy in a fundamental church. But if they felt the bathroom is so filthy, I just can't bring myself to come here, or the nursery is unsafe, people were not friendly. They had their groups already, and I felt left out. So there are reasons that people might not come back that need to be corrected if that is the case. So you have to be honest with yourself and say, why would someone not come back to church? And then let's fix it. And then think about what is it you really want your church to be? Well, we started Central Baptist Church in 1975. And when we started, we were far, far, far from what I knew I wanted our church to be one day. The first group that came out on visitation, this girl had a micro mini skirt on. One guy had hair down over his shoulders. And it never occurred to me we should have some guidelines about people going out and representing the church. These were entry-level people, and they recently saved or were not saved at all. Now, it looked like somebody just got out of prison. That's the way most people looked. So these people were genuine. They got saved. They loved the Lord, but it was going to take time for them to become strong Christians and for the church to develop leadership within those people. And by the way, some did and some didn't. Some ultimately moved, left out of the areas, fell to the wayside, and then some really responded and became strong Christians. So you need to have an idea, what do you want our church to be, your church to be? What kind of music? What do you want the service to look like? What do you want your leaders to be like? What do you want them to do? This mission is going to be important to you. The preaching, the choir, the special music, the facilities that you have, that all those things are really, really important things. So you may not be there now, but you should have an idea. Here's what I want our church to be. And so it takes time, years to develop that. But if you don't know what you want it to be, then it'll probably never be what it ought to be. So your building is important. It should be well kept. It should be clean. Somebody needs to clean it properly, clean it well. The bathrooms need to be clean. But let's start outside. That there's a sign. Is that sign readable from the road? If somebody's going 30, 40 miles an hour, can they read that sign? Is it easily read and understandable when they go by? Is there landscaping? Is the lawn mowed? Is some of the shrubs overgrown, or they need shrubs? Is the driveway clean? Is it paved? Is there lighting? Is that the way it should be? Is there signage? Can people tell how to get into the church? Does it say welcome, church auditorium, fellowship hall? Every room should be marked. Every door should be marked and labeled. Uh, all those things are important. And there should be a branding so all the fonts look the same. Uh, whatever you're doing, it ought to identify as that's your branding for the church. As you get into the building, uh, is the foyer welcoming? Is it clean? Is it easy to see where to get into the church at? How do they know where to go next? In some churches are very small. It's not difficult. You can see it all when you walk in, but in many cases there's Sunday school classrooms and you look down the hall, you can't tell who's what. Where do I go? Where do my children go for Sunday school? And if you have vertical signs above the door, when you look down the hallway, you can see, teen classroom, age, junior age, or nursery. And the nursery should be easy to find, clean, well-defined, and for people to feel like it's very safe. So that the building needs to be inviting, and signage is a very important part of that. It's like we're expecting you. We're ready. When you come in, we want you to know how to get where you need to be. We want you to see what's going on. The building should be lit brightly, and everything should be LED for efficiency. And if not, some states have special programs to help you to get it to that point. Everything ought to be working. Outlets should all be working. There should not be cracked windows. Does something need painting? Is there clutter? Sometimes, I think everybody has this room that like everything ends up in that room. Storage room, could be an office area, and like everything ends up there. And you find here Bibles that people left behind, coats and clothes, and all this stuff. If you're not careful, you get used to that. You don't know what to do with it. And you got to deal with it. If nothing else, throw it all away. But you don't want it to look cluttered. Every item in the building should have a purpose and be there by design. And sometimes churches need more storage. That some people have too much storage and too much junk, and they need to get a dumpster or a few dumpsters and get rid of it. But a lot of churches, they don't have enough storage, and sometimes you can get an outbuilding and put stuff in there. You need to have a dumpster and have that enclosed. You may need to power wash the building on the outside. The line striping in the parking lot could need refurbishing. Entrance and exit signs in the parking lot are important. Lighting so they can see where they're going, when to get in. All those things are important for visitors so that they know, here's what I'm supposed to do. They were expecting me, and they made it very easy for me to come to this church. Security is another issue that's sort of connected to this. Unfortunately, in this day and age, we have to have cameras. We have to have people armed and trained so that if there's something that's wrong, that they're there, they're ready, they've been trained, they know what to do. Tattered carpeting is a problem. I encourage, every church I go to, I encourage them, put a hard surface under your pews or your chairs. On the platform, put a hard surface. It can be a laminate. There's loose lay flooring that it's a composite material, but it can look like wood or marble. There ought to be a hard surface, and the reason is the singing from the congregation cannot be properly mic'd, and the choir, the congregational singing, is so valuable and so important to the atmosphere of the church. So I would encourage you, if you get to the point where you say, we got carpet. Well, if there's a point where you can change that, where it needs to be upgraded, I would upgrade it with a hard surface. Probably you're not going to put hard chairs. You're going to put cushion chairs or cushion pews in, but everything else should be a hard surface. And you'd be amazed the difference from the congregational singing. I've been in churches where new building, seats 1,000 people. It's beautiful. But when you sing, you don't hear anyone else singing. You feel like you're it. That's not encouraging people to sing out. And when you're in a building that has better acoustics, I remember when I was in Bible college at Tennessee Temple, this building, of course, was packed with people, but they literally had sealed concrete under all the pews. No flooring at all, just sealed concrete. A very low pile, red carpet down the aisles. Everything else was wood or hard surface. And I'll tell you, it was amazing to me, something very notable when I first went there. When they sang as a congregation, I was singing as loud as I could. I couldn't hear myself. It was like stereo effect. And so that is a valuable part of making the church healthy, trying to be evangelistic and reach people with the gospel. Well, hopefully some of these ideas are helpful to you. If I can help you anytime, feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to talk it over with you or give you some advice. But hopefully you have a good day and keep reaching the lost. God bless.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, consider sharing it with a friend. You can also follow at Dr. Townsley on Twitter or on Facebook at Jim Townsley.